Morning to you. I'm so happy to be here.
早晨咁多位，好高興喺度同大家分享。
Thank you, Pastor Betty. This is a wonderful place to be with you today.
呢度咧，多謝 Pastor Betty，讓我喺呢度，呢個係一個好正嘅地方。
We've been learning so much from the water, not from the food.
我哋咧係學咗好多嘢，從呢個水嗰度學嘢，唔係喺啲食物嗰度。
All of us, we can live without water, without food, but not water.
我哋咧係可以沒有食物咧繼續活下去，但冇水真係唔掂。
So I hope that you've been drinking a lot of spiritual water the last 3 weeks.
咁咧，我希望大家喺過去嘅幾週嗰度咧，亦都飲咗好多嘅屬靈嘅水。
Today I'm going to take you to another place called Negev.
今日咧，我想帶大家咧去到一個地方叫做尼格夫。
A dry place, but we are going to look for water.
係一個乾旱嘅地方，帶我哋去揾水。
It is found in the book of Psalm 126.
咁咧就喺詩篇126章嗰度。
When you look at the book of Psalms, you will notice there are 15 chapters in that book that is entitled The Song of Ascent.
咁咧，你會發覺咧喺詩篇裏邊有15個詩歌咧，咁佢哋係有個題目係上行之詩。
Psalm 120 to 134 are called or known to be the Song of Ascent.
係詩篇120到134，咁咧係叫做上行之詩。
These are very special. I want you to appreciate them because these are songs that were sung by the Jews 3 times a year on their way to Jerusalem to the temple.
咁咧，我希望大家咧係能夠欣賞得到咧，其實呢一啲歌咧就係猶太人咧，佢哋一直上山去耶路撒冷嘅時候咧就會唱嘅歌，一連3次。
You see, they travel from afar. It's a very difficult and long journey because most of them walk to Jerusalem, not by car or train.
咁咧係大家要知道咧，佢哋其實係行咗一段好長嘅路咧，係去耶路撒冷，係上山行，唔係揸車，唔係搭火車。
Some of them travel for days.
咁有啲咧可能要係去好多日㗎。
And the best thing to do as they were traveling together is to sing songs to God.
咁咧，當佢哋一齊去行嘅時候咧，其實最正嘅咧就係一齊去唱歌俾神聽。
They sing songs to encourage one another.
咁亦都咧係互相嘅去鼓勵。
But interestingly, these 15 songs have deep meanings.
但係咧好有趣咧，就係呢15首上行之詩咧，亦都有好深遠嘅一個意義。
If you notice carefully, the first song from Psalm 120 leading up to the last song, Psalm 134.
咁咧，當你去睇咧，第一首歌120章，去到最後一首歌134章嘅時候
begins from a very low mood song and then to the highest, most energetic, the crescendo, we call it in music.
咁咧就由一個好低沉嘅情緒啦，120章去到第134咧係好激昂，好有呢個力量嘅。咁喺音樂我哋叫 crescendo， 即係加大聲。
It begins with the focus on a lot of troubles in life.
咁咧亦都咧係講述咧生命當中有好多嘅麻煩。
And then it moves toward trusting God in life.
咁咧我哋係一直咧去移動咧，去進入去相信信靠神。
And then it ends toward the triumph in life.
咁最後咧就係達至到咧喺生命當中嘅得勝。
I think it is so true that all of us here in this room, in our journey of life, traveling to our spiritual Jerusalem.
咁我相信喺我哋嘅生命咧係一直喺一個旅程，去到咧呢個屬靈嘅耶路撒冷。
A lot of us have troubles in life.
咁我哋喺生命咧有好多嘅困境。
Maybe it is your health, your finances, your relationships.
咁可能係我哋嘅健康啊，我哋嘅經濟啊，或者係我哋人與人之間嘅關係。
And then you begin to worship God and God takes you to a place of trusting Him with your troubles.
咁咧上帝就會帶到你一個地方咧，讓你去信靠上帝。
And finally, when you reach God, you find your triumph.
咁當你咧去揾到神嘅時候咧，你就揾到你嘅得勝。
So the same it is true today as you come to the church here in Taiwan.
咁同樣地咧，你今日嚟到柴灣呢個教會。
I'm sure a lot of you have a lot of troubles in life already and maybe more troubles the last week.
咁我相信大家嘅生命當中咧，亦都遇咗好多嘅可能困難啦、麻煩咧，係過去嘅，甚至係過去一週更加多。
And in the time of worship, I hope that you have a sense of I can trust God with my troubles.
咁我希望大家咧，頭先喺敬拜嘅時候，你可以有一個嘅感覺話，我可以將我哋嘅麻煩咧，全部信靠交俾神。
And I pray that today at the end of this service, you can leave this place, you feel triumphant.
咁我亦都希望咧，當大家係離開呢個場地嘅時候咧，你係感覺到自己咧係得勝嘅。
There is hope in every troubles that you face.
係每一個嘅麻煩我哋面對咧，我哋係有盼望。
So coming back to these songs again.
咁我哋咧翻嚟呢個詩篇，
Some of these songs were written by King David.
有一啲咧就係大衛王去寫嘅，
A few were written by Solomon.
咁有幾個咧就係所羅門王寫嘅。
And I think more than half of the songs were written by others.
咁咧有一半或者超過一半咧係由其他人所寫。
Psalm 126, today's psalm,
而今日呢一個嘅詩篇126章，
possibly were written by Ezra.
咁係好有可能咧係由以斯拉所寫。
In the time of Ezra chapter 1,
咁咧喺以斯拉第1章，
I believe you heard and you studied the book of Nehemiah some months ago.
咁啊大家之前我哋咧係讀尼希米記，
Nehemiah has in the middle the chapter that talks about Ezra.
咁咧喺尼希米記中間咧有提到以斯拉。
In fact, Nehemiah and Ezra, they are meant to be one book, not two.
其實咧尼希米記同以斯拉記係應該係一本書，而唔係兩本書，
Because both were written by Ezra.
因為兩本都係以斯拉寫嘅。
And the story, you know, I don't have to repeat this, they were in captivity for 70 years.
咁咧喺佢嘅故事當中咧，就係猶太人咧，佢哋係喺流放咗70年。
And suddenly, really, suddenly, the king, Saxus, asked them, gave Zerubbabel the permission, the governor, Zerubbabel, to lead the people of Israel back to Jerusalem.
咁咧喺呢一個嘅係突然之間，波斯王咧居魯士咧佢就去派遣呢個所羅巴伯咧，係將佢哋帶回耶路撒冷。
Even pay for their etiquette to go back to Israel.
甚至佢哋嗰張機票啊都俾埋錢啊！
I'm serious.
真㗎。
You know, King Saxus paid for everything and even sent armies to protect them on their journey back to Israel.
係啊，居魯士王咧，佢哋真係將佢哋成個旅程嘅經費咧係俾晒佢哋，甚至咧係派遣呢個軍隊係保護佢哋翻到耶路撒冷。
I know what you're thinking now.
你可能-
Wow, this cannot be true.
你可能話：喂，冇可能。
有冇搞錯啊？係咪真㗎，Pastor Ed?
Is it really true, Pastor Ed?
And even Ezra himself did not believe.
甚至以斯拉佢自己都唔相信，
So he wrote this psalm.
所以佢寫咗呢一個詩篇。
So look at Psalm 126, verse 1 to 3.
咁我哋咧係嚟睇呢個詩篇126章第1至3節。
There are two parts to this psalm. The first half, this part, talks about what had happened in the past.
咁呢個詩篇咧其實係分開兩橛嘅，前面嗰橛咧就係回望過去到底發生過啲咩事。
The second half, we will read later, talks about what will happen in the future.
咁而第二節咧就會講將來會發生嘅事。
In verse 1, when the Lord brought back the captives to Zion, we were like men who dreamed.
咁啊第一節啦，當耶和華使錫安被擄嘅人歸回嘅時候，我們好像做夢的人。
We must be dreaming.
我哋真係發緊夢啊！
It cannot be true.
冇可能係真嘅。
Now finally we're back in Israel, in Jerusalem. It cannot be true.
我哋終於翻去耶路撒冷，冇可能係真嘅。
We could touch the sand and smell the flowers.
我哋咧可以掂下啲沙，聞到啲花。
We were 70 years in trouble, in captivity.
我哋有70年係被擄，係喺流放之中。
It is like someone who said, I've been 70 years in prison, now I'm out of prison.
好似就有人咁講，我有70年喺監倉，而家出翻嚟啦。
I've been 70 years sick in the bed, in the hospital. Finally today, I'm outside walking in Taiwan. It must be dreaming.
咁我有70年喺醫院喺病床嗰度，而家我終於行翻出嚟喺柴灣教會，一定係一個
Or
夢。
70 years I had been barren. Wow, suddenly this morning I test, I'm really pregnant.
有70年，70年生唔到仔，我終於有仔。
仔係新喎，阿女咧
OK， Ewan， Yeah，
Cantonese 好拼心喎嚇，
生仔。
全部都係仔啦嚇。哇 ，OK，
Children.
never mind. English child. Oh no, I've been single for 70 years. Finally, I met the guy.
我70年單身，終於都遇到嗰一個男士。
男士 ，Wow. Do you have dreams that have not yet come to pass?
你有冇一啲夢從來都未完成嘅咧？
Maybe you're dreaming to have your own house,
你可能係夢想有自己嘅屋，
or dreaming for grandchildren.
可能
Hello.
喺度希望有孫。
Maybe your work, you're dreaming for a promotion
可能喺你工作咧，你好想有呢個升職，
or an increment.
可能
Times are bad. There's no way you can get a bonus or an increment.
加薪 啲經濟比較差，好似一直都未有加薪升職。
You know, our God is a good father
我哋嘅上帝係一個美善嘅父神，
who wants to fulfill the desires of our heart.
佢係好想係去成全我哋心目中嘅一啲嘅渴想。
It is like you as parents or husbands or spouse, when you know your loved ones have a desire, a dream, you want to help fulfill it for them.
就好似咧，你係一個家長，你係一個嘅伴侶，當你所愛嘅人有啲渴想嘅，你好想去幫助佢去成全。
There was a story about a man, a very elderly man.
咁啊，有一個故事關於一個長者
He was in his 70s and still he doesn't have a child.
咁佢係大概70歲，但佢一直咧都係冇孩子。
孩子啱啦，
終於
就好準啦，
Finally
孩子 Yeah. And he was very rich,
咁佢好有錢，
but no children.
但係冇孩子，
So he was very sad.
咁佢好傷心啦。
In fact, he was 75 years old and he still did not have a child.
75歲都冇一個細路。
And one day God showed up
突然間有一日，上帝出現，
and God said, I will give you the desire of your heart, a son.
咁咧我係會俾你心中所渴想嘅一個一個
仔啊
兒子，係啦，
係 son. This is very specific. God didn't say daughter, he said son. Yes.
一個仔。
And he waited a year, he waited 2 years. Every morning his wife tests herself if she's pregnant and nothing happened.
咁咧佢一日復一日咁樣去等，每一天咧佢個妻子都喺度測試下，都係冇嘢發
He
生。
waited for 15 years
佢等咗15年，
and God must be lying.
上帝梗係玩緊我，
And he got afraid.
跟住就開始驚啦。
You know, when you're in trouble and nothing improves, you become afraid.
當咧你喺一個困境嘅當中，而事情沒有去改善，你個心就開始囉囉攣，佢驚啦。
You're getting older and you're still not married, you got afraid.
當你咧一直年歲係咁增長，仲未結婚，有啲開始淆底啦。
Or your children still not married, you got afraid.
你嘅孩子仲未結婚，你又開始驚啦。
Or they're married but they don't have children, now you got afraid.
你結咗婚但係冇細路，又驚啦。
You have worked in the same company for 20 years and still no promotion, you got afraid.
你喺同一間公司做咗20年都冇升職，你又驚啦。
You have worked for 40 years and you still don't own a house, you're afraid.
做咗工40年，你都冇間屋，又驚。
You check your bank account, still very little money, and you're getting retired, 又俾人炒咗, you're afraid.
係啦，你喺度做工，做到你退休，銀行又太少錢，跟住又俾人 fired， 你好驚。
Every day you check your blood pressure, your cholesterol, still very high.
每一日咧量度你嘅血壓，哇，仲係好高。
Is it not true? You become afraid.
跟住你又驚啦，係咪啊？
And some of us here, your dream has not yet come to pass. You're afraid.
而在座有啲人，你嘅夢想可能仲未實現，你又開始驚咯。
And God is a good father, and he came to Abraham in Genesis 15.
咁而上帝咧係個美善嘅父神，佢咧就喺創世記15章咧就嚟到亞伯拉罕嘅面前。
And God told Abraham, 唔使驚, don't be afraid.
咁啊，上帝同佢講話唔使驚。
And in verse 5, God says, 我哋出去行街啦。
喺第5節咧 ，God told him, well, let's go out together.
In verse 5,
第5節，
and he brought him outside and said, look toward heaven.
於是咧耶和華就帶亞伯蘭去到外面話：你睇天上嘅星星。
When you are afraid, go out, take a deep breath, look to heaven.
當你係驚嘅時候，行出去抬望眼，然之後深呼吸。
When you receive a bad news, go out, take a walk, take a deep breath, look to heaven.
當你咧係接收到一個壞消息嘅時候，行出去抬望眼，來一個深呼吸。
And God said to Abraham, and number the stars if you are able to number them.
上帝咧就叫亞伯蘭話：去數星星啦，你數得清嗎？
They said if you cannot sleep, if you have insomnia, count sheep.
咁咧有人話過啦，你失眠咧就數綿羊。
This joke must be from New Zealand
呢
or Australia. New Zealand.
呢個笑話咧應該係從紐西蘭或者澳洲嚟嘅。
You know, here in Hong Kong, you count sheep, you won't sleep because you can't find them.
喺香港你數綿羊冇可能瞓得着，因為你根本揾唔到羊。
Must be only New Zealand.
淨係應該喺紐西蘭先。
Plenty of sheep, more sheep than men or human.
羊仲多過人嘅喺亞西
So
蘭，
it's endless.
係冇
So
窮盡。
when God told Abraham, count stars, he's not asking Abraham, 你瞓覺啦。
咁啊，當耶和華咧係叫亞伯拉罕去數星星嘅時候，唔係叫佢去瞓覺。
God has something to show Abraham. He said, if you can count the stars, that would be the same number of children you have.
咁啊，上帝係同亞伯拉罕講啊，如果你能夠數到天上嘅星星，嗰、個就係你所有嘅子孫嘅數目。
So Abraham went out with God and he looked up and he looked at the stars.
咁於是咧，亞伯拉罕就跟住上帝出去抬望上天上嘅星星。
And in verse 6, and Abraham believed the Lord and he counted it to him as righteousness.
而第6節咧就亞伯蘭信耶和華，耶和華就以此算他為義。
Did you notice there's a play of Hebrew word here? It says, you count the stars, and if you can count the stars, and then he says, God counted Abraham as righteous.
咁咧呢度咧係喺希伯來文咧係有一啲嘅玩咗啲字嘅，咁佢當中咧有講啊，上帝叫佢去數星星，然之後數下你嘅子孫，然之後咧後來咧就耶和華
If you
係
can
數
count
為
your
義。
blessings, you believe it, I will count you righteous.
如果你能夠數算你嘅恩典，你係相信嘅話，我就數算你係為義。
You know, don't be calculative with God, but be calculative with the blessings God gives to you.
即係唔好同上帝去算計，但係我哋咧係數算上帝嘅恩典。
Let me ask you this question.
讓我
What
問呢
did
個問題
Abraham do that this verse, in verse 6, God says, you believe and therefore I count you as righteous?
問一個大家一個問題：亞伯拉罕做咗啲乜嘢嘢，從而導致話佢相信而上帝就算佢為義呢？
If you get it right, Pastor Betty, 請你食飯.
If you got it right, Pastor Betty will treat you too.
If you got it wrong, 你請我食飯.
你錯咗，你請 Pastor Ed 食飯啊！
What? You're scared? What is the answer? 驚啊？
驚啊 ！Scared？
你唔中意同我食飯咩？
收人。What's the question? They say.
你要請我哋全部食飯啦。Question so you didn't get it. God counted Abraham righteous because Abraham believed.
上帝咧數算亞伯拉罕為義，因為亞伯拉罕
What
信
did
佢。
Abraham do to convince God that he believed?
亞伯拉罕做咗啲咩動作去話俾上帝聽佢真係信呢？
Did he count the stars?
佢有冇真係走去數星星呢？
You know, astrologers tells us from the earth, you can only see 5,000 stars in the sky.
天文學家講，如果你喺地球望上去，你最多能夠數到5000粒星星。
But no one can ever see all 5,000 stars at the same time,
但係
at any given one time.
從來冇人咧可以喺一瞬間同一個時間見到5000粒星
The
星。
most you could see is 2,500 stars.
最多你真係見到嘅可能係2500。
You don't believe me tonight, you go and count.
你唔信我，今晚你出去數，
Yeah, don't waste your time, just trust me.
唔好嘥時間，信 Pastor Ed。
And you look at the next verse and then the answer I'll give you, verse 12.
咁我哋嚟睇下12節，然之後我就俾你個答案。
As the sun was going down,
喺12節話日落嘅時候，
meaning when God told Abraham to count the stars, it was still bright daylight.
所以咧當耶和華叫亞伯拉罕去數星星嘅時候，嗰時仲係日光日白。
No human can see stars with their physical naked eyes.
真係冇人可以靠着肉眼見到啲星星。
So did Abraham pretend that he saw the stars and lied?
咁到底亞伯拉罕有冇話扮睇到啲星星，然之後講大話呢？
Or he really saw the stars and believed?
定係佢真係見到啲星星，然之後相信呢？
Just because you cannot see the stars during the day, it doesn't mean that there are no stars in the sky.
你日光日白見唔到啲星星，唔代表啲星星唔存在。
The stars has always been there.
啲星星一直都喺度，
The only difference is what time of the day you're looking at it.
但係唯一嘅分別就係你喺 嗰日咩時間
And
去
God
睇。
chose to prove himself and to test Abraham's faith by taking him out during the day and say, can you see the stars?
上帝就去揀選係日光日白嘅時候帶亞伯拉罕出去，你睇唔睇到啲星星？
Because God have given Abraham the promise of a child in chapter 12. This is the second time God want Abraham to test him if he still believe that he will have a child.
就喺12章嗰時候，上帝出現話我應允俾你一個仔，然之後去到而家呢個時間係上帝第二次出現，去問佢你而家
And
仲
for
信
the
唔信
very
我？
first time, Abraham learned to see with his eyes of faith and say, God, I can see it.
而亞伯拉罕亦都係喺呢度憑着佢第一次憑着佢嘅屬靈眼睛，去同上帝講：我見到。
Even though he has been waiting for 15 years and then 20 years.
即話佢係等咗15年，然之後20年，
And he's still not afraid. He said, I have faith, not fear.
但係佢亦都可以繼續去講：我有信心，唔係驚怕。
And he said, God, if you say the stars are there, I say, yes, they are there. And I believe because you said that.
所以就係話，上帝，如果你話啲星星就喺嗰度，我就去相信你，我就話我相信你啲星星就喺
I
嗰度。
don't feel that it is there. My eyes cannot see that they are there. But because I heard that you say they are there, I believe you.
我感覺唔到佢哋喺度，我肉眼睇唔到佢喺度，但因為你同我講喺度，我就相信你喺度。
The moment you want to be feeling how you felt, the moment you want to see with your eyes, there's the time you are afraid.
當你係要感覺得到嗰樣嘢，你要睇到嗰樣嘢，其實嗰個時候就係你係驚怕嘅時候。
But the moment you choose to hear God's voice,
但係當你去選擇聽上帝嘅聲
and
音
you
嘅時候，
choose to believe when God says you are healed, even though you're still feeling sick today,
當你係選擇去相信上帝同你講話，你已經係得醫治，而
and
你
you
又相
say,
信嘅時
I
候，
believe I am healed.
即係話你感覺唔到，但係你去
It
話
is
我
not
相信。
positive thinking or confession, it is possibility thinking.
呢個咧唔係一個正向嘅思考，唔係一個阿 Q 精神，而係一個相信呢個可
I
能性。
believe it is possible because He is the God of the impossible.
我相信呢個係可能，因為呢個上帝係喺凡事都可能。
When I look at my bank account is emptying, I'm going to lose all money, but God said, I will supply all your needs, and I choose to believe it.
當我見到銀行戶口係冇錢嘅時候，但係上帝就係去供應，我相信上帝就會供應。
So Abraham, he waited and he waited and he chose to have faith in God. And today you too, you must believe in God.
所以亞伯拉罕係選擇喺度等待，佢再等待，佢選擇相信上帝。我亦都邀請大家去相信上帝。
What are your dreams?
你嘅夢想係乜嘢？
What are you waiting for?
你等緊乜嘢？
You have to be patient.
你要有耐性，
Don't give up on your faith.
唔好放棄你嘅信心，
Don't give up on God.
唔好放棄上帝，
Do not be afraid.
唔好驚怕。
And then the second half of this psalm,
而呢
then
個
we
詩
pray
篇第二節，我哋
in
嚟
verse 4.
第4節。
Restore our fortunes, O Lord, like streams in the Negev.
喺當代譯本嗰度係求你恢復我哋嘅繁榮，就像乾旱嘅南地重現溪流。
Those who sow in tears will reap with songs of joy.
流淚撒種嘅必歡呼收割。
He who goes out weeping, carrying seed to sow, will return with songs of joy, carrying sheaves with him.
那帶種流淚出去的，必歡呼地帶禾捆回來。
This is the second half of the psalm that talk about what God will be doing.
而呢一個咧就係呢個詩篇嘅第二節，去講上帝佢會做啲乜嘢。
And he uses the example of a place called Negev, which is a desert.
咁咧佢用咗一個叫做尼格夫嘅地方，而呢個地方係一個旱地，一個沙漠。
The word Negev means dry or parched.
而呢個尼格夫呢個字咧係代表咗乾旱
In
乾
fact, some
涸。
translation, maybe the Chinese Bible, don't even call the place Negev. It just said the place is dry.
咁咧可能喺有啲嘅譯本嗰度咧，佢未必叫佢做尼格夫，可能只係講一個乾地。
In Israel today, Negev occupies 60% of the land. 60.
咁喺今日嘅以色列咧，尼格夫係佔咗佢大概60% 嘅土地。
Only 8% of the Israeli population lives in this desert today.
咁咧只有喺以色列咧，大概8%嘅人咧係住喺呢個乾旱地。
This is a place that nobody wants to live there or work there.
係冇人中意喺嗰度住或者喺嗰度做工嘅，
Because there is no life, there is no excitement in this place.
因為咧係完全冇生命，亦都冇啲咩嘅精彩嘅地方。
Maybe today I'm talking to a lot of people where your Negev is 60% of your life dry.
可能咧，對於在座各位有啲人嚟講咧，其實可能係講緊你嘅生命有60%咧都係乾旱。
Maybe I'm speaking to some people, your health or your marriage or your finances is like Negev, a wilderness. It is 60% dry up.
可能咧係對於某啲在座嘅人嚟講，可能係你嘅生命啊、你嘅關係啊、你嘅經濟係有60%係
There is no life there.
冇生命。
Nobody wants to come visit you because you are like a Negev.
冇人中意咧去探望你，因為你咧就好似一個尼格夫乾旱之地咁。
Even your dog runs away, doesn't want to come home.
就算你隻狗都走開咗，唔想翻嚟屋企。
And say, God, would there even ever be life coming back to me?
你可能會問上帝啊，我嘅生命會唔會再有呢個生命翻嚟呢？
And this is a prayer. The psalmist said, God, would you bring rain again?
而呢一個咧，亦都係詩人嘅一個禱告，上帝啊，你會唔會將雨水再帶翻翻嚟？
You know, Negev is a place that Abraham avoided. If you read the book of Genesis, chapter 12 onwards.
如果咧你係讀創世記12章打後咧，其實係亞伯拉罕咧係一直逃避避開嘅呢
When
個
he
地方。
left Ur, he finally ended up in Negev for a season.
佢當初去離開，去到當初離開佢嘅家園嘅時候咧，嚟到呢個尼格夫咧係停咗一陣間咁多。
And then a famine hit Negev.
跟住咧就有呢個嘅旱災嚟到尼格夫，
So he moved to Egypt.
跟住佢就去到埃及。
And of course, the story you remember, it was in Egypt that he lied to the king. He says, Sarah is my sister.
咁咧去到埃及咧，佢就去對於嗰度嘅王去講大話，話撒拉咧係佢嘅妹
And then
妹。
he left Egypt and eventually landed in Sodom and Gomorrah.
咁跟住咧佢離開埃及，然之後咧去到所多
Because
瑪
Sodom
俄摩
and
拉。
Gomorrah has a lot of life, a lot of things happening. Everybody wants to go to Sodom and Gomorrah. It's like Lang Kwai Fong.
係啦，咁去到所多瑪俄摩拉嗰度，好似一個蘭桂坊咁，好生氣勃勃，好多人想去。
Nobody wants to come to Taiwan. Everybody wants to go to Thong Lo Wan.
It rhymes。冇人想嚟柴灣，一個二個去晒銅鑼灣。
When you say, I worship in Taiwan, your friend say, 唔係柴灣，係灣仔。
咁你想話嚟柴灣敬拜，跟住有啲人就話：喂，唔係去灣仔。
Is there a place called Taiwan? 一定係灣仔。
嚇，真係有個地方叫做柴灣㗎？一定係灣仔咧。
And then Sodom and Gomorrah got destroyed and Abraham went to Negev.
跟住所多瑪俄摩拉係被毀滅之後咧，佢亞伯拉罕就嚟到尼格夫。
In fact, when Rebekah was introduced to Isaac, Isaac was in Negev. That was the place they met.
而以撒唔係 Isaac，以撒同埋利百加咧就喺尼格夫呢個地方咧相遇。
So all single people, there is hope. You meet your Isaac in Negev.
所以咧，所有嘅單身人士咧，你有希望啦。你會遇到你嘅另一半喺尼格夫。
And God gave water in this barren land.
而上帝咧就喺呢一個乾旱之地咧係俾水，
Another impossibility.
另一個嘅不可能。
Let me ask you, where did the water come from?
我問下你，水喺邊度嚟？
I'm not looking for a logical answer.
我唔係揾緊一個邏輯性嘅答案。
The logical answer could be from the ground or from the sky, but I'm looking for another answer.
嗱，你嘅一個合理嘅答案可能係由地下嚟或者
From
天
this
上來。
text.
咁但係我哋睇翻咧喺呢個今日嘅經文嗰度，到底我哋有
In
另一個
verse
答案
5,
嚟咧？
those who sow in tears, he who goes out weeping, the water came from the tears.
我哋喺第5節見到啊，流淚撒種嘅，其實呢個水係由眼淚所
Some
出。
people say, don't waste your tears. Don't cry for that man, your evil husband. Don't cry. God says your tears are useful.
有啲人話：你唔好浪費你嘅眼淚啊，為着你呢個嘅邪惡嘅丈夫，你唔好嘥你眼淚去
Or in
流
the
淚。
English,
但
they
係
say,
上帝話
don't
有
cry
用。
over spilled milk. They said, right?
咁啊，英文有一個嘅言語講到話，打死咗嘅奶，你唔好為佢去流淚。
But God say there are times you need to sweat, you need to cry.
但係上帝話你係有一個時間，你係需要流汗，亦都有時間你需要流淚。
You know, God will perform the miracle, but sometimes He wants us to partner with Him for the miracle to happen.
我哋知道上帝佢係可以單獨行使神蹟，但係亦都有啲時間咧，係上帝係想同我哋一齊去拍檔咧，讓到神蹟去發生。
He says in verse 6, he who goes out weeping, carrying out seed to sow. Can you imagine? He was carrying out seed to sow in the barren land, in the desert. this is crazy, and the sinner crying, 一定唔可以啦，唔得噶啦，死晒全部啦。
係啦，咁喺第6節嗰度就嗱，帶種流淚出去，係喊住一路撒種，有冇可能會發生㗎啦？但係你一直喺度撒種。
And as he saw, the tears begin to water the ground.
當你一直喺度撒種嘅時候，你嘅眼淚就喺度濕潤咗個土地。
And then the next day, he went out again, and he began to 冇嘢㗎，冇嘢㗎，哭啦吧吧吧吧吧，是啦，冇嘢㗎。And he began to cry, and the water began to water the plant.
咁你第二日又去行出去睇，哇冇嘢，一點都冇嘢，你喺度流淚喺度祈禱，然之後都係冇嘢。
So the tears were never wasted.
但係你嘅眼淚係唔會被浪費。
And sometimes God wants you to begin to pray and to work hard and partner with Him for the miracle to happen.
但係有時上帝就係想你係一直喺度祈禱，一路流淚，係同佢咧去拍檔，去讓到呢個神蹟去發生。
Today, where is your negas?
今日你嘅尼格夫喺邊度？
Today, God wants to bring life to that barren land.
今日上帝就想將生命帶到去呢個乾旱之地。
I want to pray for you to activate your dream to come to pass.
今日咧，我想為大家去祈禱，去啟動，讓你嘅夢想得以成真。
Just like Abraham, he waited for 25 years.
正如咧亞伯拉罕等咗25年。
25 years is a long time to wait for a baby.
25年，你等個 BB 等咗25年係一段好長嘅時間。
Even for a lot of us, when your wife pregnant for 9 months, you can't wait. 咁耐嘅，咁慢嘅。
有時你真係你睇住你太太腹大便便9個月，你都覺得哇咁耐嘅，仲未嚟嘅。
And today you must wait.
但今日你一定要等。
But I guarantee you, your dream will come to pass.
但我保證你嘅夢想係會成真。
And as you wait, you begin to say, God, I believe.
當你一直等待，你就同上帝講係我相信。
You remember I started the message, I said, what are your dreams?
你記得我今日開始講呢個信息嘅時候，我問大家你嘅夢想係什麼？
You don't have to tell us what your dreams.
你唔使同我哋講你所有嘅夢想。
Today, you need to stand. If you don't mind, please stand.
咁今日咧係讓我哋站立，如果你唔介意可以站立。
Instead of going out, today you need to close your eyes and look up and see the stars.
我哋咧與其行出去，我哋咧而家就喺度眯埋隻眼，我哋仰望去數算星星。
You say, Pastor Ed, my eyes is closed. How can I see the stars?
Pastor，我而家仲喺度。
My eyes are closed. How can I see the stars?
我隻眼係閂埋咗，我點睇到星星？
You need to see with eyes of faith, just like Abraham.
你係要透過你嘅屬靈信心嘅眼睛，
Can you
好似
see
亞伯拉罕
the
一樣。
provision coming?
你見唔見到個供應嚟緊啊？
Can you see the healing coming?
你見唔見到個醫治嚟緊啊？
Can you see the promotion coming your way?
你見唔見到個升職係嚟緊嘅？
Can you see the restoration?
你見唔見到個復原啊？
And I want you to begin to see and you say, I believe.
我要邀請你話，我相信。
Just as Abraham said to God, I believe.
就好似亞伯拉罕同上帝講，我相信。
And God will count you as righteous and include you on His list to say, you are the next one to receive your answer to your prayer.
上帝就會數算你為義，亦都咧係擺你喺一個列表裏邊，下一個輪到你。
Okay, just close your eyes. Don't look at me. Close your eyes.
讓我哋
Between you and God.
閉上眼睛，呢個咧係我哋自己同上帝之間嘅一個交流。